The rain fell harder now, drumming on the tin roof of the diner like impatient fingers knocking on a door that had been long closed. Michael's eyes never left Logan, the biker who had once been more than a friend, a brother in arms, a witness to every secret he had buried in foreign lands. Memories rose like smoke, curling around his chest, making each breath a small battle. Lily's small hand tightened around the dog tag. She didn't understand what she had just done, the weight of the question she had thrown into the air like a stone that would ripple through the hearts of men. She only knew that the fear in her father's eyes was the same as the fear she had felt once when a thunderstorm had chased her under the bed. She didn't move. She waited. Logan took a step forward, lowering his voice, yet every word carried the gravity of years of unspoken truths. "Lily, that's your dad?" he asked softly, nodding toward Michael. His eyes, steady but heavy, searched hers for understanding. "Yes," Lily whispered, still holding up the dog tag like a shield. "He is, but I don't know him." "Is he really my father?" Her voice trembled. The innocence in it contrasted sharply with the storm around them, the wind, the rumble of motorcycles, and the tension between the men. Michael finally knelt, bringing his face closer to hers, forcing himself to see her, not the past that had haunted him. "Lily, there are things I can't explain quickly, things that aren't easy to say." His voice broke, carrying the weight of battles fought in silence. "But I promise you, I am your father, the only one you'll ever have." Lily frowned, her brows knitting together. "But, the dog tag, it has other names." "Why? Who am I really?" He took a deep breath. Every word he was about to say felt like dragging a blade across an old scar. "Before you were born, I made choices that saved lives but broke me in ways I couldn't show. This dog tag," he said, pointing at the small silver chain in her hand, "was part of a world I wanted to leave behind. A world of soldiers, of wars, of promises, and failures. That's the man you are asking about." Logan cleared his throat, stepping closer. "Michael and we served together. We fought in places most people can't imagine. And one day, your father, your real dad, he had to leave that world. He left everything behind, even some of his brothers in arms, to make sure someone else, someone like Lily, could have a life without fear." Lily looked from Logan to her father, confusion and awe colliding in her eyes. "So, you were a soldier? You fought wars?" "Yes," Michael said, finally allowing a tremor of pride to break through the sorrow in his voice. "And I lost more than I can ever tell you. Friends, brothers, some never made it back. But I survived, and I came home, and all I wanted was to protect you." Tears gathered in Lily's eyes, though she didn't move closer. Her small chest rose and fell rapidly. "But, why didn't you tell me? Why did I have to find this?" She held the dog tag against her chest. "Why did I have to ask?" Michael swallowed hard, feeling his chest tighten. "Because I thought if I told you, you'd see me differently. I thought you might be scared. I thought the war might follow us home even when I tried to bury it." Logan spoke again, voice soft, almost a whisper. "Michael carries ghosts, Lily. Every day. Every night. And yet, he chose to come home to you. He chose to live for you. That's why you're safe, and that's why you have a father who will always protect you, no matter what." The rain slowed. A sliver of sunlight peeked through the clouds. Lily's eyes widened. She wanted to understand, but she also wanted to hold on to the man who tucked her in, the man who kissed her forehead, the man who never let anyone see him cry. And then, one of the bikers stepped forward, not Logan, not Michael. Another man, older, grizzled, with a scar that ran across his cheek like a line drawn by fate. His voice was steady, yet it carried decades of regret. "Little lady," he said, "your father, he was more than just a soldier. He was a hero. But he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He lost people he loved. He carried their memories with him like chains. And now, he carries you." Lily's small fingers trembled. She looked at Michael. "Is that true?" Michael nodded, tears finally spilling down his face. Every word. She took a step closer, her small frame shaking with the weight of what she was learning. She held the dog tag out again, her tiny voice barely audible over the soft patter of rain. Then, I want to know everything. I want to know my father. I want to know the man you were, and the man you are. The bikers exchanged glances. They had fought beside him, shared nights of fear and loss, and carried the same secrets. But now, in front of a little girl, those secrets had to find their voice. Logan nodded. Then you shall. But be ready, Lily, some stories are hard. They're not just sad, they're heavy. They hurt. They make you question everything you thought you knew. And they stay with you forever. Lily swallowed hard, determination flashing in her eyes. I can handle it. I want to know him. Michael reached down, brushing a lock of hair from her wet face. Then you will, Lily. Slowly. Piece by piece. And when it's done, you will know who your father truly is. Not just the man who feeds you, who hugs you, who tells bedtime stories, but the man who fought to bring you into a world where you could be safe. The man who lived through fire and smoke, to make sure you could see sunlight. Lily pressed the dog tag against her heart. I love you, Daddy, she whispered. Michael's voice broke in the wind, louder than the motorcycles that still rumbled outside. I love you too, Lily. More than the wars. More than the pain. More than anything in this world. And for the first time in years, the storm outside seemed almost gentle. The rain softened. The clouds parted slightly. And somewhere in that pause of the universe, a little girl began to see the man behind the silence, the man who had been both hero and stranger, father and warrior, broken but unyielding. But as they would soon learn, the past was not yet done. The bikers weren't just there to witness. They had a reason. A secret. One that would challenge Michael, test Lily, and force them both to face the ghosts of war, together. And in the next moments, nothing would ever be the same. The diner smelled of wet leather and faint gasoline from the motorcycles outside. Michael's hands trembled slightly as he took a seat opposite Lily. She climbed onto the chair, small knees tucked under her chin, dog tag clutched tightly in her tiny fingers. The bikers formed a loose circle around them, their faces unreadable, yet full of stories that had no words. Michael's eyes drifted to the rain-soaked window. Outside, the storm had slowed, but the sky remained bruised, like it too carried memories it couldn't release. He took a shaky breath, realizing that for the first time, he would speak of the life he had tried to lock away. Lily, he began, voice low, almost a whisper, the man you see sitting here, the man who hugs you, who makes pancakes, who reads stories, he wasn't always this man. Lily tilted her head, curiosity brightening her eyes. Then who were you before? Michael looked down at the dog tag she held, tracing its cold metal with a finger. Before you, I was someone else entirely. A soldier. A man who carried death on his shoulders like it was a second skin. I fought in places I hoped I'd never have to remember. And I lost, more than I can even put into words. Logan stepped forward, his rough voice carrying weight. We served together in missions that people don't talk about. Places where hope seemed impossible. Michael, your father, he led men into hell. And he survived when so many didn't. Michael nodded. I saw friends fall. I saw innocents ripped apart by explosions and fire. I made choices that still haunt me. Decisions where I had to choose who lived and who didn't. His throat tightened. And I thought that leaving all of that behind, coming home to you, would be enough to wash it away. But the memories, they never leave. Lily's small hands gripped the dog tag tighter. Daddy, were you scared? He laughed softly, a sound that carried both humor and anguish. Every day. Every mission. Every night. Fear became part of me. But you learned to use it, to move forward anyway. That's what soldiers do. One of the bikers, a man named Harold, stepped closer. His face was lined with age and hard experiences. "We were your father's brothers in arms. We saw him fight, bleed, and never give up. But he also carried guilt. Guilt heavier than any armor. He lost men he couldn't save. He carried their faces in his dreams." Lily's eyes welled up. You really hurt people?" Michael's voice broke. "I did what I had to do. I hurt enemies to protect others. But I also lost friends, Lily, friends I swore I'd protect, and I couldn't. Every day, I remember them. Every night, I see their faces. And now, I see you. And I pray I can protect you better than I ever protected anyone else." The bikers exchanged solemn glances. Logan spoke softly, "And that's why we came here today. Not just to see him, but to remind him of the promises he made. To himself. To us. And, to you, Lily. You deserve to know the whole story. And so do we." Lily looked from one man to the other. "I want to know everything. Every scary thing. Every sad thing. I want to know the real story of my father." Michael nodded slowly, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. "Then listen carefully, Lily. There's a time before you were born, a time of battles and brothers, of choices that could never be undone." He closed his eyes and began. "We were in a place called Talvarin. Mountains, dust, blood. We were sent to rescue hostages, civilians trapped in the crossfire. Our unit, we were young, reckless, and scared. And one day, we walked into an ambush. I saw my friend, David, get hit. I tried to save him. I carried him under fire, but he didn't make it. That day, I learned that courage doesn't always mean you survive. Sometimes it means watching those you love disappear." Lily shivered. "Did it hurt, losing them?" Michael's lips trembled. "Every second of every day. Their faces haunt me. And yet, we kept moving. We fought for each other, for people who couldn't fight for themselves. But each choice, every life I took or saved, it left a mark. A scar I carry to this day." Harold, the older biker, added, "We all carry scars, Lily. Some visible, some invisible. Your father's scars are the kind that could crush him. Yet, he carried them anyway. And he came home to raise you. To be your father." Lily's grip on the dog tag tightened. I don't want you to be sad, Daddy." Michael smiled weakly through his tears. "You won't make me sad, Lily. You make me alive. You remind me why I fought. You remind me that even in a world full of darkness, there is light." The room fell silent. Outside, the rain had stopped. The bikers removed their helmets, revealing faces that were a map of battles, brotherhood, and survival. Each scar, each wrinkle, each hardened stare told a story. And then Logan spoke, voice low but firm, "There's more, Michael. More than just the battles. There's a debt, a promise we made. One that hasn't been fulfilled. And now, with Lily here, it's time to settle it." Michael's eyes flicked toward Logan, then to Lily. I thought I left all of that behind. But some ghosts, they never let you go." Lily's voice trembled, but she spoke bravely, "Daddy. I'm not scared. If you faced all those ghosts, I can face them too. With you." Michael's heart tightened. She was small. Fragile. But in her eyes, he saw something stronger than any army he had ever led. Courage. Hope. Love. The very thing he had fought for all his life. Logan nodded solemnly. "Then it's time. The truth. The last mission. The one that was never finished. And we face it, together." Michael swallowed, his jaw tight. Together. Lily raised the dog tag once more, holding it close to her heart. "Then show me, Daddy." show me the man you really are. I want to meet him. For the first time in years, Michael felt the weight of his past and the presence of his future collide. He had survived battles. He had buried friends. He had walked through fire and smoke. And now, his daughter was asking him to survive something even greater, the revelation of his truth, with no armor, no medals, and no walls. And outside, the world waited, silent, watching as a little girl and her father prepared to face the shadows that had been stalking them for years. The diner's neon sign flickered outside, casting uneven shadows on the walls. Michael's hand shook slightly, not from fear, but from memories that refused to stay buried. Lily's small fingers still clutched the dog tag, and the tiny weight of it seemed enough to steady her courage as if it were a talisman against the unknown. Logan stepped forward, removing his wet leather gloves, and lowered his voice. Michael, it's time you told her about Talvarin, the last mission. The one you never came back from, at least in spirit. Michael's jaw tightened. He swallowed, feeling the familiar burn of guilt rise from deep inside him. He had spoken to no one about it. Not Logan. Not Harold. Not even the walls of his own home. And yet, here he was, forced to open it all to a little girl who had just begun to understand the weight of the world. Lily, he said softly, I need you to understand something. The man I was before you, he carried a mission. One that went wrong. And it cost everything. Lily leaned forward. Tell me, Daddy. I can handle it. Michael nodded, taking a deep breath, and began. We were assigned to extract a civilian convoy trapped in the middle of a hostile zone. We thought it would be quick, precise. But when we arrived, the ambush had been waiting for us. Mines, gunfire, chaos everywhere. Men I trusted, friends I loved, were lost within minutes. I saw it happen. I carried some to safety, but others. I couldn't save them all. His voice cracked, and Lily reached out instinctively, placing her tiny hand on his. But you survived, Daddy. You came back. Yes, he whispered, tears brimming, but surviving doesn't mean leaving the past behind. I carried their faces. Their voices. Every decision I made, every second I hesitated, it haunted me. And in the aftermath, I made a promise. A promise that no matter what, if I ever came back, I would protect someone innocent. Someone who had no idea what war was. That's where you come in, Lily. Lily's small eyes widened. Me? You promised me? Michael smiled faintly. You were never just a child to me. You were hope. You were a reason to survive. I came back from Talvarin not for medals, not for recognition, but for you. I wanted to give you a life where the only battles were ones you'd face with courage and kindness, not bullets and fire. Harold, who had been standing silently, spoke with a gravelly voice. But there's more, Michael. Something you didn't tell anyone. Something that's been buried too long. Michael's heart skipped. He knew this moment would come. He had hoped, prayed, that it would never be necessary to bring up the secret, the mission that had never ended, the enemy that had never been captured, the betrayal that had nearly destroyed him. Logan nodded, urging him. It's time. Lily deserves the truth. And so do you. Michael exhaled slowly, steadying himself. During that last mission, we were ambushed by a group of mercenaries. They weren't just soldiers. They were organized, ruthless, and they had information about us that no one should have known. I tried to protect the civilians. I tried to protect my team. But one of our own, a traitor, gave them our location. And in the chaos, David was killed. Marcus, gone. And we had to retreat. I barely made it out alive. That's the last thing I ever did in Talvarin. Lily's grip on the dog tag tightened, tears beginning to fall. Daddy, that's horrible. You saved some people, right? Yes, he said, voice trembling. I saved as many as I could. But the guilt, it never leaves. Every night, I dream I failed them. And every morning, I wake up and realize that the only person I must protect now is you. I promised myself that if I ever returned, I would make it right in the only way I could. Logan stepped forward, his eyes shadowed but determined. That's why we're here. That mission, it's not over. The mercenaries who ambushed us, they survived. They went underground. And they've been tracking us, Michael. Not for revenge, but because they've realized someone from that day survived. Someone important. Michael's hands clenched into fists. You're saying, they know about me? Yes, Harold said, voice low. And they might know about Lily too. That's why we brought you all here. Safe. But not completely safe. You can't run from the past forever. It will find you. Lily looked up at her father, her small face pale but resolute. Daddy, we can face it. Together. Michael knelt, bringing his face level with hers. You're brave, Lily. Braver than I ever was at your age. But this is a different kind of danger. This is not like monsters under the bed or storms outside. These are real people, who could hurt us if we're not careful. She nodded slowly, dog tag held tightly. I don't care. I want to know my father, the real one. And I'm not afraid of him or anyone else. Michael's heart swelled with a mixture of pride and fear. She was so small. Yet she held the courage that could move mountains. He realized that the battles he had fought all his life, the missions, the ambushes, the losses, all of it had led to this one moment. His daughter had become the reason to survive again, but this time, the battlefield was closer to home. Logan and Harold exchanged glances, understanding what had to be done next. Michael, Logan said, it's time we finish what we started. The mercenaries, we need to track them down. Not for revenge. Not for glory. But to finally close this chapter. And Lily, you need to see your father as he truly is. Brave. Flawed. Human. Michael looked at his daughter. Are you ready for this, Lily? It's going to be dangerous. You might see things you don't understand. But I promise. I will protect you, no matter what. Lily's small hands gripped the dog tag. I'm ready, Daddy. We'll face it together. I'm not afraid. Michael exhaled, a mix of fear, relief, and determination flooding through him. Then we begin. But we do it carefully. We do it together. And we never forget, no matter what happens, we have each other. The bikers nodded. The storm outside had cleared, leaving behind wet streets that gleamed in the neon lights. The past had returned. The ghosts of Talvarin were no longer distant memories, they were alive, looming, and demanding attention. Michael looked down at Lily. Hold my hand. Never let go. Not now. Not ever. She took his hand without hesitation, gripping tightly as if her small fingers could anchor them both through the coming storm. And as the motorcycles roared back to life outside, the father and daughter, joined by old brothers in arms, prepared to confront a past that had been waiting for them, for years. Because some battles never end. They only change shape. And sometimes, the bravest warriors are not the soldiers who survive war, but the fathers who face it to protect their children. The sun had fully risen, spilling gold and amber light across the town. The battles of the past, Talvarin, ambushes, mercenaries, felt like distant storms now, replaced by the warmth of a quiet morning. Michael Hartley walked through the front door of their small home, carrying Lily in his arms. She clutched the dog tag, its cold metal now a symbol not of pain, but of courage, love, and survival. Inside, the house smelled faintly of fresh coffee and baked bread, simple things, ordinary things, yet filled with meaning. For years, Michael had hidden behind silence, believing he was protecting Lily from his dark past. But now he understood that protection wasn't only about shielding her from pain. It was about teaching her to face it with courage and love. Lily squirmed happily in his arms. Daddy, we did it. We really did it. Yes, Lily, Michael whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Together, we faced every fear. Every ghost from the past. And now, we're free. Free to live, to laugh, to love. They sat together by the window, sunlight warming their faces. Michael told Lily stories he had never shared before, not just tales of battles, but stories of friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice. He told her about David, Marcus, and the friends who never returned from Talvarin. And Lily listened, absorbing the lessons, understanding the courage it took to survive, to forgive, and to keep moving forward. You know, Daddy, she said softly, I think bravery isn't about fighting battles with guns. It's about standing up for what's right, protecting people you love, and not giving up, even when it's hard. Michael nodded, pride swelling in his chest. Exactly, Lily. You've learned the greatest lesson of all. Life will throw storms at you. There will be moments when fear tries to stop you. But courage, real courage, is moving forward anyway. And love is what gives us strength to keep moving, no matter what. Lily hugged the dog tag to her chest. This will always remind me, of you, of us, of everything we've faced. Michael smiled, tears forming in his eyes. And it will remind me, too, that no matter the past, no matter the battles, hope and love will always win if we hold on to them. The bikers, Logan and Harold, visited once more to ensure that the threat had ended. They shared stories, laughter, and silent understanding with Michael and Lily. Though the danger had been real, the bonds forged in courage and loyalty now remained unbroken. The sun had fully risen, spilling gold and amber light across the town. The battles of the past, Talvarin, ambushes, mercenaries, felt like distant storms now, replaced by the warmth of a quiet morning. Michael Hartley walked through the front door of their small home, carrying Lily in his arms. She clutched the dog tag, its cold metal now a symbol not of pain, but of courage, love, and survival. Inside, the house smelled faintly of fresh coffee and baked bread, simple things, ordinary things, yet filled with meaning. For years, Michael had hidden behind silence, believing he was protecting Lily from his dark past. But now he understood that protection wasn't only about shielding her from pain. It was about teaching her to face it with courage and love. Lily squirmed happily in his arms. Daddy, we did it. We really did it. Yes, Lily, Michael whispered, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Together, we faced every fear. Every ghost from the past. And now, we're free. Free to live, to laugh, to love. They sat together by the window, sunlight warming their faces. Michael told Lily stories he had never shared before, not just tales of battles, but stories of friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice. He told her about David, Marcus, and the friends who never returned from Talvarin. And Lily listened, absorbing the lessons, understanding the courage it took to survive, to forgive, and to keep moving forward. You know, Daddy, she said softly, I think bravery isn't about fighting battles with guns. It's about standing up for what's right, protecting people you love, and not giving up, even when it's hard. Michael nodded, pride swelling in his chest. Exactly, Lily. You've learned the greatest lesson of all. Life will throw storms at you. There will be moments when fear tries to stop you. But courage, real courage, is moving forward anyway. And love is what gives us strength to keep moving, no matter what. Lily hugged the dog tag to her chest. This will always remind me, of you, of us, of everything we've faced. Michael smiled, tears forming in his eyes. And it will remind me, too, that no matter the past, no matter the battles, hope and love will always win if we hold on to them. The bikers, Logan and Harold, visited once more to ensure that the threat had ended. They shared stories, laughter, and silent understanding with Michael and Lily. Though the danger had been real, the bonds forged in courage and loyalty now remained unbroken.